gunpowder smoke rising from the deck, cutlasses flashing in the moonlight, the cries of prisoners and the cheers of ruthless captains. This isn't a pirate movie. These are the world's most infamous pirates, and their stories are all too real. Get ready for a journey into the heart of piracy, where cursed treasure, betrayal, and bloody seas will chill you to the bone. Blackbeard, perhaps the most famous pirate in history, remains shrouded in mystery. Much of what we know about him and other pirates of his era comes from the 1724 book A General History of the Pirates, published under the pseudonym Cap Charles Johnson. Though often attributed to Daniel Defoe, its accuracy is questionable. The book claims Blackbeard's real name was Edward Thatch. Born in Bristol, England, he served as a privateer during the War of the Spanish Succession in the early 1700s before turning to piracy in 1716. He terrorized the Caribbean and the coasts of South Carolina and Virginia aboard Queen Anne's Revenge. Known for his fearsome image, he wielded 3 brace of pistols and placed lit matches under his hat, enveloping himself in smoke to intimidate foes. Blackbeard was killed in November 1718 after his ship was ambushed by the British Navy near Ocracoke Island, North Carolina. But he wasn't the only infamous pirate. Qing Shi, born Shi Yang in Guangzhou, China, in the late 18th century, worked as a sex worker before marrying pirate Qing I in 1801. Together, they united the region's rival pirate gangs into a powerful confederation. After Qing I died, in 1807, Qing Shi took control, ruling through strategic alliances and a strict code of laws. Anyone caught giving commands on his own or disobeying those of a superior was immediately decapitated, wrote historian Diane Murray. At her peak, Qing Shi commanded a fleet of 1,200 ships and about 70,000 pirates. In 1810, she negotiated a surrender deal with the Chinese government that pardoned her pirates, with some even joining the Chinese Navy. These cunning tactics and ruthless discipline made Qing Shi one of the most formidable pirates in history, yet her legacy remains lesser known compared to Blackbeard. Sir Francis Drake is remembered as a hero by some and a pirate by others. Born in Devon, England around 1540, Drake became the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. However, this wasn't a planned exploration. He set sail to raid Spanish ships in the Americas. From an English perspective, his actions were legitimate, as the Spanish had claimed all of the New World and the English sought their share. To the Spanish, Drake was El Drake, or the Dragon, a pirate and thief. He shared his plunder with Queen Elizabeth I and fought against the Spanish Armada's failed invasion in 1588. Drake's legacy is also tainted by his role in slavery. He helped establish the English slave trade in Africa, enslaving up to 1,400 people during trips to Guinea and Sierra Leone with his cousin, Sir John Hawkins. Drake died of dysentery off the coast of Panama in 1596. Samuel Bellamy lived to be only 28, but he left a lasting legacy. Born in Devon at the end of the 17th century, Bellamy began working at sea during the War of the Spanish Succession when he was just 13. Later, he became a pirate captain, as noted by the New England Historical Society. Bellamy captured 53 ships, including the Whydah Galley, a slave ship carrying a fortune in gold, silver, and other goods. After delivering 312 enslaved people from Africa to Jamaica, the Whydah Galley was on its way back to England, now filled with profits when Bellamy seized it. According to the Field Museum in Chicago, he made the Wider Galley his flagship in 1717, but went down with it in a storm that same year. In 2008, Forbes reported that Bellamy was likely the highest-earning pirate of all time, having captured booty worth about $120 million in today's dollars. Known as Black Sam Bellamy for his black wigs tied with a black bow, he styled himself as the Robin Hood of the sea, stealing from the wealthy while treating his crew as equals and sparing the lives of captives. Bartholomew Roberts, nicknamed Black Bart, was a tall, flamboyantly dressed 18th-century pirate from Wales. He started out on merchant ships but soon turned pirate and quickly became captain of his own crew, as recorded by the Royal Museum's Greenwich. During his career, Roberts captured around 400 ships in the Caribbean and off the coast of Africa. He often targeted slave ships, demanding gold from their captains in exchange for their return. When one captain refused, Roberts reportedly burned the ship with 80 enslaved people trapped on board, according to the World History Encyclopedia. Roberts's reign of terror ended in 1722 when he was killed by the British Navy off the coast of Gabon, West Central Africa. His crew was too drunk to defend the ship, and 52 of them were hanged after the largest pirate trial ever held, according to the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History. William Kidd, known as Captain Kidd, walked the blurry line between privateer and pirate. Born in Scotland around 1645, he was employed as a privateer by the British government in 1689 and even commissioned to arrest pirates. However, as Britannica notes, he was eventually hanged for murder and piracy. In 1698, Kidd famously captured the Quidar Merchant, a merchant ship off the west coast of India filled with gold, silver, silk, and other valuable goods. Branded a pirate, Kidd abandoned the ship in the Caribbean in 1699 and traveled to New York to clear his name, but he was captured. The Quedar Merchant's wreckage was discovered in 2007. Historians still debate Kidd's guilt, but he was executed in London in 1701. His body was hung in a metal cage on the River Thames for 3 high tides to deter passing sailors from piracy, according to Thurrock Council, a local authority in England. Rum drinkers will recognize Sir Henry Morgan from the Captain Morgan rum bottles, but his legacy stretches far beyond that. Born in Wales around 1635, Morgan travelled to the Caribbean in 1655 as a labourer. After completing his contracted work in Barbados, he sought fortune in Jamaica and soon turned to piracy, according to the Dictionary of Welsh Biography. In 1665, he married his cousin Elizabeth Morgan, daughter of the Deputy Governor of Jamaica. By 1666, he commanded his own ship as a privateer, raiding towns along the coasts of Mexico, Panama, and Cuba. His bounty included gold, silver, and gems, and he also captured and sold enslaved people. Despite being imprisoned for his exploits, Morgan was knighted by King Charles II in 1674, demonstrating how quickly fortunes could change during the golden age of piracy. When Morgan died of natural causes in 1688, he owned 3 plantations in Jamaica, and his estate included 131 enslaved people, as recorded in the Legacies of British Slavery database at University College London. Anne Bonny, born in Ireland in 1698, was a pirate as menacing as any of her male counterparts. The daughter of a plantation owner, she moved to South Carolina before abandoning her life for the Caribbean in the early 1700s. Bonny joined the ship of Calico Jack Rackham, a pardoned buccaneer disguised as a man, according to the Royal Museum's Greenwich. She became notorious while sailing with Calico Jack, fighting fiercely in battles while her male crewmates hid below deck. Alongside her was Mary Read, the only other female pirate of the Golden Age to gain infamy. Both were captured and sentenced to hang in 1720, but their executions were delayed because they were pregnant. Red died in prison of fever, but Bonny's fate remains unknown. Born Anne Cormack, she was dressed as a boy in childhood due to a family will requiring a male heir. She later married James Bonny, a pirate who settled as a fisherman in the Bahamas after accepting a pardon from Governor Woodes Rogers. However, Anne couldn't resist the allure of piracy, leaving her husband to join Calico Jack on the high seas. Anne Bonny wasn't alone in her piracy. She had a partner, Mary Read, who also sailed with Calico Jack Rackham's crew. Born in London around 1695, Red dressed as a man and was working on another ship when it was captured by Rackham. She soon joined his crew and became close friends with Bonny. The two women pillaged together on the high seas, wearing jackets and long trousers, each wielding a machete in one hand and a pistol in the other. A victim of their piracy testified that they were willing to do anything, according to Smithsonian Magazine. Rackham's ship was captured off Jamaica in 1720, and the crew was put on trial. Bonny and Read avoided the gallows because they were both pregnant. Red died in prison of fever in 1721, while Bonny's father secured her release, taking her back to South Carolina, where she lived until the age of 84. Charles Vane remains a mysterious figure from the golden age of piracy. His exact date and place of birth are unknown, but historical records paint him as a bold and ruthless pirate. He first appeared in the early 18th century, plundering Spaniards, salvaging silver from a wrecked Spanish fleet in the Gulf of Florida, according to the Oxford Dictionary of National Biography. From there, he attacked various ships on the high seas. When cornered by the British Navy, Vane set fire to his flagship and sent it directly into the British fleet. The burning ship caused enough chaos to allow his escape, according to the National Archives in London. Vane's crew eventually ousted him from command, leaving him stranded on an uninhabited island in the Caribbean after a storm wrecked his last vessel. Rescued later, he was quickly identified and hanged for piracy in Jamaica in 1721. While not the wealthiest pirate, Vane amassed an estimated $2.3 million by the end of his career, according to Forbes in 2008. He captured merchant ships from Hispaniola to New York, gaining a reputation for cruel treatment of captured sailors. On March 22, 1721, Vane was tried and found guilty of piracy. He was hanged a week later at Gallows Point in Port Royal, and his corpse was displayed in chains at Gun Cay. Blood-soaked decks, ruthless captains, and crews that feared nothing but defeat. These pirates plundered the high seas, amassing wealth and striking terror into the hearts of sailors. From Ching Shi, the Pirate Queen, to Charles Vane, whose fiery escape is legendary, these tales remind us that even the darkest legends contain a grain of truth. Sail with us into the unknown as we uncover their terrifying stories. As always, thanks for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're bloodthirsty for more of that history crack.